Hello, Stephanie Joy with All Things Social Security. We had a Q&A with a short little clip discussion on a particular topic. So I'm going to attach it for you here. It might be something that you're interested in if you clicked on this header. And following that, we're going to go through it a little bit more. So just wanted to give you the heads up. This is where it started from, and then we'll have the bigger discussion right after. All right, chat with you later. Bye-bye. User Wendy says, hello, I'm 57 on SSD for 24-month Medicare paperwork yesterday. I am covered policy from spouse retirement. Have it till death or divorce, LOL. But I can decline A and B. My insurance is perfect for me. I understand. And that's a decision some people make. Just know this. It is my understanding, so vet this and do your due diligence, that the insurance coverage you have from your spouse is not creditable coverage if he's not working currently to receive it. It is a retirement version. Granted, I know it probably didn't change, so I don't know why this rule is the way it is. But double check this. If you ever need to go on Medicare, the one you don't want right now because you have a wonderful one right now, then if you ever need to go on it, let's say you get divorced. I'm sure that's unlikely. You sound perfectly chipper in your marriage. If you ever had to go on it, or if you were to pass away and you lose it then, and I'm guessing it stems to you too, and that wouldn't happen, but just double check. If you ever have to go on Medicare after not accepting it because you had this other avenue, and that other avenue was not creditable coverage, like retirement insurance is not, again, I don't know why that is, then you will have a 10% premium increase when you do decide to go on Medicare. 10% on top of the regular premium for every year you didn't partake. So that tells me that if 10 years go by and then you need it, your premium, you'll pay twice the premium everyone else will. So just take that little bit of dangerous information, make sure it's true, it's accurate, and then just go find out, do I have this retirement health insurance until the day I die? Not just that, as long as my husband's alive collecting retirement. And then, of course, if you're not concerned about your marriage strength, which I hope you're not, then the divorce is probably not something you have to worry about. So then you decide. One other thing you might want to look at too, are you guys paying a premium for the retirement insurance? Is it more or less than per month than what your Medicare would give you? Yep, charge you. And then also, are there co-pays and deductibles that are better or worse than what Medicare would offer you? Just things to look at if you want to look at the full picture. All right. It's nice to have choices though. So I think it's good that, it's great that you have that choice. Hey, so if the subject matter of the video you just listened to is of interest and you want more on it, stay tuned. Here's another one about the same topic, but a little bit different. Bye now. Good afternoon. Just want to make a clarification about one of the benefits of Social Security disability that is not available to Supplemental Security Income, SSI, recipients due to being on SSI. But when one is on Social Security disability and has been on for a sufficient period of time, and that time can be retroactive, and I'll explain that in a minute, they become eligible for Medicare. It's probably, for many people, it's one of the most important benefits that they get from the Social Security Administration program, SSDI, because affording a private policy or even a marketplace ACA policy can be out of bounds for a person who is limited to Social Security benefits. Now, we know that when we turn 65, or most of us do, if we were workers or our spouses were, we will be eligible for Medicare. If we didn't, we're not going to be, unless, of course, our spouse perhaps did. And sometimes we can do a buy-in. But generally speaking, 65 is the age when we become eligible for Medicare based on age, and those really relatively affordable premiums in the scheme of things. I say relatively because, for instance, if this year it's $170 a month, that's a lot of money for someone on a fixed income, assuming the fix is what we're referring to here, like a Social Security disability retirement amount. If we mean fixed because someone is Rockefellers and has, $5 billion of fixed income every year, that's not what I'm talking about. So $170 a month can be high. However, the alternative is something far higher, and the person would just be without coverage because they would not be able to do it. If a policy on the open market is $2,000 a month, who's going to be able to afford that if their basic benefit is $2,000 a month or something less, or even something slightly higher? People have to pay rent and mortgages. They have to pay for food, utilities, et cetera, transportation. So without Medicare, I don't see how the majority of Americans and legal residents would be able to get healthcare. So in that respect, it's very functional, right? The alternative could be really disastrous. So what people don't often realize is that if they become disabled before the age of retirement and they are able to file for Social Security disability because they became insured for that, meaning they were working recently enough to be insured for that term insurance, then they too will become eligible for Medicare, because it's the understanding that they can't go out there just like the aged among us and earn enough to, in theory, afford either get it through an employer or buy it on their own. So disabled people who are getting Social Security also become eligible, if they remain disabled for a period of time, to Medicare. And it's the same price for the basic traditional Medicare. And the difference is the date you are found disabled is not the date that your Medicare eligibility is going to kick in. There is a waiting period. Generally, it's 24 months plus a 5-month waiting period, although that will look a little differently when you look at it in reality, because a lot of times by the time you win your SSD case, you have back benefits, and those count towards that 24-month wait. So if you get 13 months worth of back benefits, now you only have the balance to 24 months left of getting benefits each month. So how much will it be? 11 more months and you'll be eligible for Medicare. Yeah. So, and oftentimes, just because of the way things play out, people not filing in a timely manner, or a case taking an excessively long time, by the time they prevail and prove what they were saying all along, or at least something back in the past as to when the disability onset, their Medicare is already available. And in fact, they're going to have to make decisions about whether they want it to be retroactively available even when they weren't using it, and paying those benefits from their back benefit, those premiums from their back benefits, or not. That's a whole nother video that has to do with having to have creditable coverage if you don't take Medicare when you're first eligible. And that's even if it occurred 3 years ago. It's kind of a weird thing. Not sure I'm keen on it, but I suspect there's good reasons for it. I just don't know what they are. I'm not looking it up. But in any event, Medicare comes with SSD, and it can be a saver. I mean, we have people in their 30s, disabled, 20s. I've had 18-year-olds who would never be able to have Medicare otherwise until 65. They become disabled, and they're not without the health treatment they need, particularly for their disabilities. So again, most people have to wait that 24 months plus, assuming the 5-month waiting period has passed. If you don't know what the 5-month waiting period is, I'm sure I have a video on it. Just do a little search. But anyway, Medicare, one of the greatest things about SSDI, for many people, it is more important than the cash benefit. Much more important. That's particularly so for, well, might even be everybody, but even people who are not otherwise indigent because they have a working spouse, that spouse's income goes to, yes, maybe it's able to maintain the current household without the double income, but to throw that extremely high price of a private health policy on there is just, not doable, particularly if that spouse's employer does not provide health insurance, or maybe he's self-employed, who knows? And for the single people, my goodness, right? So Medicare comes with SSDI, not just for retirement, okay? Very important benefit. Talk to you later. Bye.